Welcome back everyone to the Hello World guys. This is the last episode of the C++ for Beginners series, and in this video we are going to finish our account system. So let's get started with that real quick. So in the last video we had got pretty much all of it done except the fact we cannot add new accounts, so we need to kind of implement that. So in order to do that, we'll just add here a new command. So I'm going to add a new account command here. By the way, I'm going to add one here, another T here, to make it a bit more kind of better organized, and I'm gonna put a backslash T here, and here I'm going to say you can say something like uh, well, let's say maybe let's say a yeah, a is free. You can say add account. Alright, now that's pretty awesome. So let's basically go ahead and under case here. So case like case A, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that here and then break, and we obviously want to have a system for actually doing this, which we have got pretty much here. So I'm gonna basically copy all of that and we can paste it here. So that should be pretty awesome, but obviously there is a small problem here, which is that it's giving us an error. Wow, why is it giving us an error? Transfer of control bypasses initialization of variable name declared at 71. Transfer of control bypasses initialization. Alright, that's it's an easy way to fix that. You can just put here these, so that it kind of does not cause any problems. Yeah, that should work. So yeah, this is good, and now we are gonna do that of new account and the starting balance, and then we are gonna accounts dot push underscore back. Now once we actually do that, we need to have a better way of kind of organizing our IDs, because currently we have got a terrible way of doing that, which only works for each of the session. So each of the session, this next ID is reset. Now an easy way to fix that is that each of the time we read from file, what we do is we once we get the ID, so we get the ID, we set our next ID, so ID, yeah, this is a static variable. We set it to our ID plus 1, which means we just take the ID of this current object and we set it to ID plus 1. Now that is essentially going to work, because we are increasing the ID each time we create a new account. So what this does is that when we read from the file, we set it to the next ID, and once we read the last entry in the file, we've got all of our IDs done, and we can now continue then doing the normal stuff. So let's start, and you can see that it should basically run up correctly. Yeah, it does, and we have got options for obviously changing account number. Now if I go under info, you can see I have got ID 1 and my balance is 50. Now I'm going to actually add another account here, which is gonna be called let's say John's, and we're gonna starting balance gonna be 80, and then I'm gonna deposit 20 into it. Now let's go ahead and say alright, it was 80 and then I deposited 20, and it says new balance is what, 70. Okay, yeah, that reason that happened is because I'm gonna withdraw 20 now, because it did not change that automatically. So if I change the account number to 1, then if I go info, you can see it says that David Jones with ID of 2. Now this is kind of working, but you can see it's working a bit weird, because our Jones has an ID of 3 instead of having an ID of 2, and we have got a bunch of different stuff here, which is a bit going a little weird. So yeah, we need to kind of fix that. One thing we want to do is we want to, when we are setting the number, so we are gonna go ahead and say see in number, and if our number is greater than account size, number minus 1 actually is greater than account size, then we are gonna do that, and then we are gonna do invalid and set our number to all number. Else we are just going to go on with that, but we are obviously going to add 1 to the number. Not really, we are not gonna add 1 to the number, but what the number we take, we are gonna subtract 1 from it, because the number user will enter will start from 1, but we will our array indexes start at 0, so we are gonna subtract 1 from that. And if it this minus 1 is greater than the account size, then we are gonna say invalid and set it back to the old number. Now each time we actually change the number, so we add a new account, we do that, then we go ahead and kind of just go ahead and set our account. So I'm gonna set my number is equal to accounts dot size, which is gonna give us the size of the accounts, minus 1, which is gonna give us the last one that we added, which is going to be this entry. Now let's go ahead and let me just go ahead and I'm gonna actually delete that file right now. So I'm gonna go ahead existing item, you can see that file is here, I'm gonna delete it and then I'm gonna close this again. Now let's start from the beginning, and now we've got we can enter the name of our new account, which is gonna be David obviously, and starting balance is going to be 30, not 30, let's say 70, and then I'm gonna withdraw 20, and the new balance is gonna be that. Now I'm gonna quit, and then I'm gonna start again. And now we can actually go ahead and say info, it says David ID 1 and all of that. Then we are gonna go add account and enter the name to be Jones, because why not, and let's enter that to be around 80. Now if I do that and I go ahead and say info, you can see it says John and the ID is for some reason 3. Now why is that? We're gonna fix that in a second, but we are gonna change. Now we can actually change the account number to 1, which says invalid. Okay, change account number to 1 says invalid, change account number to 2 says enter a transaction, and this is actually Jones, and yeah, 1 is invalid for some reason it seems, even though it should not be invalid, because obviously the account number 1 is supposed to exist. Doing 0 is also invalid, and if I change the account and I say 1, it's also invalid. So we need to kind of fix a couple of stuff here, but the basic idea is mostly working. Now how are we supposed to do that? Well, first let's go in here, and instead of doing plus plus next ID, we are gonna do next ID plus plus, what does that do? That will make us get the next ID first, and then we are gonna plus plus. Okay, let's actually not do that, keep it like that and set it to ID instead of ID plus 1. ID, that's pretty awesome. Now that is gonna work for the basic stuff. Now obviously one thing we need to do is why is this not working? So if I say 1, then it's gonna say this, and let me make sure that I think what I'm doing is actually it's wrong, because you need to kind of put this in bracket, because it's executing 1 first and then it's subtracting number. So now that will work. So we can do our final test now. I'm gonna delete the file by going here so that I can actually reset it, and now let's go ahead and start again, and let's see, that should now work. So let's add an account saying David, and with a this of 70, then we are gonna withdraw here 20, and that will give us new balance is equal to 50. Now let's change the account number to 1, and that does not work. Why does it not work? 1 minus 1 is equal, okay, we are not supposed to minus 1 here, because we are already subtracting 1 from it. We can just say it like that. Alright, now let's do it for the final time. So if I go here, now if I go ahead and change account number to 1, then it works and it's still David. But if I change the account number to 2, then it does not work. But if I add an account and I enter the name of the account to be like Jones, and then I go ahead and say let's say starting balance of 80, and I go ahead and say info, it does everything perfectly, and the ID is also correct. Now if I go ahead and say account number, change that to 1, you can see it does that correctly, and we have got our David with 50, and let's go ahead and deposit into it 30, and it says 80, and let's go to Jones now by changing the account to 2, and it does work, and we have got Jones here, perfect. And now we are gonna deposit here maybe 20, that gives us perfect. So this is the Jones account, and this goes ID 2, name Jones, and balance 100, and we can change the account to 1, and we can go ahead and say ID information, and you can see it is working. Now let's close the program, run it again, and if I say info, you can see it says David. If I change the account to 2, that says Jones. So yeah, this was pretty much it for this video and this series, and we developed a really practical and useful program in this series. So stay tuned for the next series, in which we'll start doing something else. I'm thinking about going over to Unity again. So yes, stay tuned for that, and make sure to like and subscribe, and share this series with other people who want to learn C++ from scratch, and also learn to kind of apply it into some useful programs like this one. So I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and bye.